Hi guys, welcome to my video. This is Romee. So what I've just did is I combined different clips from different movie companies' introduction into one video, and I want to convey that there are so many movie companies that I personally love, and that is an awkward mashup video. So a mashup is basically a combination of clips from different sources. So if I combine clips from different movies from different characters, or maybe even using this to form a totally new story, then I'm making a movie mashup, something like this. So in this video, I'm going to discuss something about this popular kind of online video that is movie mashup. Well, you can tell that I am a huge movie fan and I have watched tons of movie mashups. I noticed that some of them follow the original setting of the movie, like the storyline or the character, while some of them don't. I also had the experience of changing my understanding of a character or story after watching certain mashups. So I think it is interesting to look into the interaction between movie mashups and the original movies, as well as how the rise of movie mashups on online video platform affect movie literacy and viewers' experience. So in order to answer these two questions, I kind of divided them a little, and here is the agenda of this video. Firstly, I want to know what is the academic understanding of movie mashups. Then I think we can view mashup from two sides. The first is the technical stuff, and the second is the concept or some abstract ideas conveyed through this mashup. So what are the static relationship between mashup videos and the original movie? As for the concept conveyed through these mashup videos, what are uploaders' motivation, or what do they want to convey through editing this, and what are viewers' expectations? As for the second question, I want to know that if mashup helps viewers to understand the original movie better, or it may cause them misunderstanding, and how could mashup connecting fans and fan community online? According to this article published on the website TechCrunch in 2015, mashups are understood as an example of copying and quoting material in order to make new things. And so it is a reframing of the original narrative, and so produce a fresh perspective on both the source material and the context in which it first existed. In another article called The Mashups of YouTube, published by Nordicom Review in 2013, the author describes that mashups are analyzed as audio-visual recontextualizations that are given new meaning. So we can see that the nature of mashups is to produce new meanings. Since the raw clips used to edit mashup videos are from different sources, they may not be coherent at first. In this case, editors need to edit them a little to make them coherent, and seems like they're supposed to be combined. For example, they may change the tones or the cuts, and here is a YouTube video explaining this process.
One of the best ways to make characters from different films look like they are looking at each other is to match their eye lines. This is usually when a character is looking off screen at somebody else. If you look for similar shots or situations, you might indeed find that some eye lines basically match, and it looks like that one character is looking at another. This is normally when characters are looking in opposite directions off screen. In my Brosnan vs. Craig card game, amazingly all the looks that they both give their opponents seem to also work when the scenes are recut so that they are facing each other. You will of course be reliant on what footage you have and don't have. Unless you get really clever and start creating your own footage, you can only use what's in the films. This is why Pierce Brosnan had to win the card game against Daniel Craig, because there was footage of Craig both winning and losing, but there was only footage of Brosnan winning. Sometimes you might have to cheat a little bit with eyelines to get them to work. In the footage I used for my Austin Powers vs Sean Connery mashup, Austin was actually facing screen left, the same direction as Connery. So in order to make it look like they were looking at each other, I decided to horizontally flip all the shots of Austin Powers so that he was looking screen right. Now it suddenly looks like he's looking at Connery, and the scene makes sense. So you may need to try something similar if the eyelines don't match.
As I have mentioned before, from these academic articles, we can see that experts don't think that mashup should be following the original setting in the original movies. They don't want to hear some direct voice from mashup uploaders, so I interviewed an uploader on Bilibili named Ray, and this is his answer.
Yeah, the most important two things is ideas and script, because the original movie is fantastic. We love these movies, so we have to we try to make a new story to make a video, maybe respect to the original movie. And if you just focus on the original storyline, it's boring and it's no things, right? When we create some videos, even similar to the original one, it also have some differences. And when it has some differences, it's a new story, and it's a new soul, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like kind of like expanding the original world.
Yep.
I think that's kind of the core of many fan works. Like people also would write fan fictions to kind of expand
So
that.
why people want to make some mashups? Because first they have no choices to shoot a movie, or they don't have enough actors, or they just have no actors to acting a movie, to make a movie. They have no opportunity. But when they have the sources of these movies and they have the platforms, they can edit the movie. After that, they can create their own movies, and the sources are their favorite movies or favorite cartoon. They can use them to create their new video. It's fantastic.
Aside from this, I'm also considering the viewer's expectation. That is, whether viewers want to see mashup that follows the original setting of the movies, or they want to see something totally new. And I interviewed a huge movie fan that I found on Weibo named Zoe.
I think with the original source, maybe more like the referring to the original source, but one character from this movie, another from other, like they're okay with me as long as it makes sense. As long as this editor is trying to convey me something that makes sense. Like, yeah. You know, I know that those like shapings were couples that interactions of the mashups, but they're like too much, way too much. And I cannot be interested in all of them, but how can I say? I may be more interested in those who found the similarities from this character and another character, not simply say, okay, I want them to love each other. You know.
Yeah. To briefly conclude what I have mentioned, we can see that in terms of aesthetic features, movie mashups may imitate those choices in the original movie. However, as for the abstract ideas conveyed through this mashup, they are totally the editor's personal ideas. And in this case, the clips from the original source are used as raw materials. Personally, I had experienced that watching mashup makes me misunderstand a movie story before watching the movie. So I would like to know how other viewers are affected by watching movie mashups. And firstly, I interviewed a freshman in NYU Shanghai, and she told me that actually watching mashup video helps her to like get familiar with the story before officially watching it?
I think the one I watched was like about Game of Thrones because I love Game of Thrones, and it's such a huge TV series, so it's very hard if you just start from the very beginning. And so I just while I was like watching those episodes, I also watched those like mash cuts so that maybe I can know about like what happens next and maybe what happens in the future. Yeah, and
But just as I have mentioned, this may lead to a misunderstanding. So if you are watching mashup before you officially watch the movie, it is important that you stay objective, both when you watch the mashup and when you watch the movie later. As for viewers who watch the mashup later than they have watched the movie, I interviewed a huge movie fan named Zoe, and she told me that actually this helps her to understand a character or a story comprehensively. Previously I asked you about changing or expanding your opinion of a character, and I'm wondering if you have the experience of changing or expanding these opinions after watching certain mashups.
Really interesting experience. There is a Chinese TV series like in 2019, and it's called The Untamed. I don't know if you listen to it. Maybe you do. It's called 陈情令in Chinese, and it was really popular for that time. I watched that, by the way, and one day I just went to the YouTube and searched the Untamed mashups simply out of curiosity. There is a large difference between those mashups on Bilibili's and the YouTube's. And actually, in this Bilibili mashups, I found out most like 100% of those mashups are like the lyrical ones. They are like they hardly are the like actions or something. They just discuss the topic like the criminal psychological thing. Like on the YouTube, those like mashups about Jing Guangyao, there was background music using Taylor Swift ready for it. Like I knew he was a killer first time that I saw him. Like Steal Hearts and Body Love, I never say sorry, like that kind of stuff. And Ariana Grand's Thank You Next, and even some like wolf in sheep's clothing. That I think that is like mostly a scold or blame. But I think those YouTube mashups they try to convey another kind of opinion. Like yes, he's a villain. He's a worst of worst. And he cannot be excused, and he's gonna burn in the hell forever. But he's also glorious and sexy and so like stylish and attractive, and I like him, and that's it. So yes, I think sometimes watching those mashups from the both domestic and the overseas, they can just expand your vision, your view to both the character and the story and like TV series or movies.
Well, since movie viewers not only include those mashup viewers but also the mashup uploaders, I interviewed a mashup uploader on Bilibili Ray for this question. I asked him if the experience of editing mashup would affect his experience of watching this original movie later. So, like when you are watching the original movie, like maybe at lunch, will you think of the mashup you made before, like related to that?
Yeah. For example, when Harry Potter or Voldemort use the power to fight, I would think about my movie.
Yeah.
It's a kind of electronic thing. It's interesting. I'll think about that.
Yeah, indeed. I think for this question, I firstly referred to an article published on Nordicom Review in 2013. According to this article, mashup is a form of vernacular culture, which is a feature of participatory culture. So vernacular culture means a depiction of how creative practices have changed with the emergence of new media and how users increasingly participate in the public exchange of content, leading to a change in consumption. In this case, Burgess and Green argue that the reason for uploading videos has just as much to do with engagement in social networking as it does with exhibitionism and self-promotion. Although the creation of mashups has a range of different purposes, according to Burgess and Green, it is noticeably how many mashups are consumed within a shared community, thus articulating a mode of connectivity. A chapter in the book Reinventing Cinema, published by Rutgers University Press in 2009, supports this idea and give more detailed example by saying that there are different ongoing comments associated with these online mashup videos. In this sense, the video cannot be separated from the role of quoting favorite movies as a form of community building as people discuss their shared memories of the movies cited in the video. One of my interviewees, Jiameng Fan, a student at Emory University studying film and media, also gave me some explanation.
So there's a lot of like fan-based community and fan-made work. So nowadays, like audiences or fans, they are not just like passive consumers like behind, like in front of the scene. They're also like active producers. So I think they're like a prosumer or like conducer, which is like the combination of producer and consumer. And so I think that's something that's like really affecting the fan community, because everyone's like, because these communities are like, they're like meeting each other and like discussing online or in person every day to creating more exciting or newer version of the movie mashups, and then these mashups are like screened on these video platforms such as Bilibili and attracting like more newer fans to the community, because so the movie itself might be 1 hour or 2 hours long, and it's hard for modern people like us because like we're all very busy. We cannot, like, it might be hard for us to watch instantaneously, but a movie mashup for like 1 to 2 minutes, they are like very short, so we might, I mean, when we take a break, we don't have like 1 hour to watch a movie, but we definitely have some sort of like 10 minutes to watch a mashup or advertisement for it, and then we might be attracted to the original movie and going to watch after it, for maybe in the evening or sometimes.
Also, I want to thank Professor Jordan for always supporting us, and my learning team members. They're really helpful and really kind. So that's it. That is my video, and hope you enjoy it.